All right, I'm here with Kevin Cooney. You guys might know him as the human alarm clock, waking us up every morning from Boston, dangerously caffeinated, always ready to go. Tip of the spear, getting you pumped up. If you don't know him, you need to. His handles are Kevin Cooney on TikTok and Instagram. What's up, Kevin?
Let's go. Good morning, you bad, beautiful bitch, you. Good God. Thank you for having me, man. This is awesome.
Absolutely. So if y'all don't know that, that's his trademark
Little
tagline.
Yeah.
He's always dangerously caffeinated, which is his coffee brand. I've got coffee here in front of me, as you see, Kevin. But
Cheers. I'm gonna load you up. Don't you worry.
soon to be, it's going to be some dangerously caffeinated coffee.
100%.
All right. What I want to dive into, man, is you, right? What you got going on, where you came from, who the hell are you?
Yep. Totally.
Why you're doing what you're doing? You and your story, Ash or Ashley. I don't know what you want to.
Both.
Yep.
Hagrid works great too.
Both. Yeah, that's right.
Tight third.
That's her. So are you guys? So who are you two right now? Like what's going on? What's the lowdown?
We are. We've been dating a little over 2 years. So and now, like, I know we were talking previous to this, it's been like endless weddings this summer. So I've been taking heat online and then a lot of heat in person for the whole "Where's the ring?" Debacle. So, but that is coming. That is so we're like ridiculously open about like where we stand in our relationship and stuff, and where we want to go together and grow together. So she knows, She knows roughly when it's coming, but not, exactly the details. So that'll be a surprise. But the ring is soon.
That's awesome. No, surprises all of it, man. That's awesome. A lot of people I speak with, it's, they're going to weddings with their boyfriend, their girlfriend, or whoever. And of course the question's going to come up if you're not engaged, if you're not married, when are you going to do it? It's always it's always like, what's next, right? Like the whole sign thing. But like, some people get super pressured by that, and you don't strike me as someone that would get that pressure. I mean, like it's there. People are saying it. You're hearing it. The pressure's there a little bit, but like there's deep down, there really is like no pressure. Like
I get no I get a ton of pressure, right? And air quotes around pressure. Cause it's like, it's almost the same way how I view social media, right? Like I am very aware of all the thumbs up and congratulations that I get, and I'm like so thankful for them, but I don't like take them in, and they do nothing really for me. Just like all the negative comments that trickle in, same deal. They have no impact on my actual like mental state.
Yeah.
So same deal with the ring. It's like I see the comments or the DMs or when we go in person and we get it live and direct in your face. But yeah, man, it's like I'm just so grounded and it's so quiet in my head that I feel no pressure.
That is such a mentality to have with everything, right? Like no matter what the topic is, it's a thing that I hear a lot of people get hung up on is that outside pressure, whether it's parents or like media, social media. I even made a video on that exact topic. Like, oh, when are you going to ask her out? Oh, when are you going to get engaged? Oh, when are you going to get married? Oh, when are you going to have kids? When are you going to have another kid? Like, leave me alone.
Right. It never ends.
So good for you.
There's always, I think what's a life without pressure in some aspect, right? And like my pressure is people want me to put out good content. And then on the relationship side, people want me to put a ring on, my girlfriend. So it's all good.
Yeah.
It's good pressure.
That's fair. That's a good point. So how'd you guys meet? How do you know her? What happened?
So she's born and raised East. So right now I live in the North End, right in Boston, and she's born and raised East Boston. So it's right by the airport. And I'm actually from Windham, New Hampshire. So I moved down here about 3 years ago to the city. And I shot her a DM on Instagram. She had a story up. This was right around when Gronk retired. Said he was going to retire to then later go down and play in Tampa. But I said some stupid joke on that Instagram story to get in her DMs. And then we went back and forth via Instagram for a little bit. And then finally she actually messaged back and I had at the time I'm a big like if people send me T-shirts, I'll rock them every day of the week. Like so, I wear all these different. And in one of my Instagram stories, I had a RX Bar T-shirt, which coincidentally at the time I was actually working for RX Bar, and she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, I love RX Bars," and I was like, "Oh, what's your address?" And this is like April of like season 1 of COVID. Like we just ran out of toilet
Right.
paper. Everyone's just discovering Tiger King. Like we're early days
Right.
of COVID. Uh, so I get her address and then I ship her no joke, a pallet of RX bars. And I was like, I wrote a sticky note on the pallet and it said, since the bars are closed, have a bar on me. And that was like the first,
Yo,
like, she was
that's so
like,
good.
whoa. Yeah. So that was, and then we didn't meet till, it was probably 2 months after that. We went back and forth, a couple times a week, nothing crazy,
Oh,
and then our first date was going to the beach. We did M Street Beach in Boston here.
look.
Was the official first date.
So you sent a pallet of RX bars, and you guys were still only doing like 2-3 times a week, kind of like casual texting.
Yeah, I'm like that's kind of my like personality. I'm very like I like going like above and beyond. I love giving gifts,
Yeah.
but like not like a uh, not something necessarily you needed. Like more of the shock and
Right.
awe factor. Like the crazier the gift could be, the better. So I was like, oh. And at the time, my job at RX Bars was to literally give out protein bars. So we'd go to like the Boston Marathon. We'd give out 10,000 bars at the Boston Marathon. Or we'd go to road races or gyms, and we would just dump product. It was just all on the marketing team. So I was like, oh, perfect. I was like, I'm sitting on a throne of RX Bars. So that's when we shipped out the pallet to her, which is pretty hilarious.
So you're going for that shock factor. I love that. So it's funny. I thought you were gonna say the opposite. Like I thought you were gonna say something along the lines of like giving some expensive thing. Like that's not my style. But you go for the shock factor as opposed to like I think like the logical like what do they need? Because like I'm trying to think what's carrying and
Mm-hmm.
like which that's clever and funny because bars were closed. That's like timing is a lot of it.
Right.
Bars were closed.
Timing's
Yeah,
everything.
play on
Yep.
words, humor. That's definitely leaning into the humor. I love that. I didn't know that
And
part.
this
That's
was like
hilarious.
before TikTok too, so it was like she couldn't really
Yeah,
see, you know what I mean? If I sent that out now to maybe someone that's watched a couple of my videos, that they get but it was kind of, I was writing that on a sticky note and I was like, oh my god, I was like, what if she reads this as like a literal statement? It's just like as if it's not you know what I mean, like I'm like, this could turn out horrible, but it
yeah.
didn't.
That's how
It ended
text
up
can get
working
read
out.
horribly. Tone
Yeah.
is everything.
Yeah, exactly. It
I
was
get this.
tough.
I'm the same exact way. I'll send like before Instagram, TikTok stuff. Same humor, same style of humor. Where it's like
Yep.
maybe I got like some dry humor via like text and like in person delivery, and
Yeah.
so there's the joke is there. Well, I think it's there. The joke is definitely there, and like people may or may not get it, but like now if someone's seen like my videos and stuff, then like they'll get it. But if they
Right.
hadn't, like you were talking
It's a
about,
little
oh boy,
dicey.
hit or miss.
A little dicey. So
Oh man! So
it's a
I was gonna
wrap.
ask, well, who made the first move? So you sent the RX bar, so you made the first move.
I made the first move. Yep. And then first date was the beach. And then it was like from that moment we hit it off. I think we literally hung out pretty much every day since then. And then she moved in with me about a year ago. So she
Right.
moved. So she's like
That was a whole series. I saw that
yeah, oh
series a
my
little
god. It was just
Yeah.
like this was like a bachelor. I had everything was black in here, black leather sectional. I had this big painting of Whitey Bulger that was all black, huge painting of Whitey Bulger. She comes in here now. It's white. There's white flowers in here. I
Yeah,
mean, this
see
is
it.
like
Just-
curtains are white now. Like the couch is white. So she basically was like, everything needs to go. I was like, well, shit.
Thanks,
So
Kevin,
this
for your
was- yeah, it
input,
was,
but no.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So so she moved in and basically flipped this place on its head.
What was going through your head when you made that first move? Like, why did you make that first move? What made you go over the edge and be like, yep, I'm gonna do this?
It's funny you actually asked this. I just drove my parents from the airport back up to their house in New Hampshire. I just got back from traveling, and I was saying to them, as a Cooney, my last name, we have our like gift I have like unbelievable gut intuition on people. Like I can meet. I always go for. She now hates when I talk about it, but I have a twin sister, and if I meet her now ex-boyfriend or any ex-boyfriend previous, the first
Sure.
time meeting them, I know instantly, pretty much just by looking at them, who they are, what they are about, their intentions. Uh, so I used to on previous podcasts, I would like go deep into those with my twin sister's ex-boyfriends, for examples.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I just have a great sense of I can meet someone and see them and almost see them for who they really are. Um, outside of whatever they're actually saying, right? I think I just have a great pickup. And for her, her and I both went through our crazy, exes stages with various exes that
We all
just
got
weren't,
them.
yeah, that just weren't the match, right? And so with her, it was so different, and I could sense that from first time actually ever meeting her. That was like, after the RX bars too, like, that first date at the beach, it was like, when I picked her up at her house, it was like, oh, it's as if we've known each other for years, which sounds so cliche, but, um,
I get it. No,
just,
I understand.
yeah, same values, and, I could just see like where her heart was at. And, yeah, so I have like great intuition of humans, like I really understand humans for all their good and all their bad, I'm great at kind of sniffing out, who
No, it's
people are.
perfect. It's a great skill to have. Great kind of like, yeah, into it's huge, right? So I kind of fall in the same boat, and mine didn't come, I would say, naturally. My previous career as a police officer, talking with thousands of people and families and
Yeah,
different dynamics, and getting burned, and like,
right,
someone's telling me something, and I'm like, God, I really believe them, and then
right.
I believe them, and then I get like some damning evidence where I'm like, you're on camera doing it.
Bastard. Yeah. Yep.
Got me again, right? Like it happened enough times where like, yeah, you start to figure it out a little bit.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
no, it's great. That's so perfect.
Especially in that line of work. That's interesting about being a cop like that. Out of high school, that's what I always wanted to go into was law enforcement, because I thought
You still can.
that same like intuition. I was like, oh, I'd be so good at.
I'm thankful I did it. I did it for five and a half years.
Nice.
Super glad I did that. From 25 to 30, I did it, and
Yep.
I'm 32 now. Yeah, so it was eye opening, whole different side of this world you just never
Yeah,
see. Right? It's just interesting, but you learn people through and through.
That-
It's
You know what I started doing in the last, probably the last, so just from living in the city, there's
Yeah.
the federal courthouse is a stone's throw away from here. It's not far at all. And probably once a month now, I'll look online and see, because they list out all the court cases and, what
Yep.
stage they're in. Like I always like to, there's like a sentencing that I can go into for the public. I'll grab Ashley and I will go sit in those sentencings, because it's the most like, at least it's the only place I can find where someone walks in, they get judged literally, and they
Right.
either walk out and they're good, or depending on whatever the crime was, they're locked up and they're not leaving there for X amount of years or
right.
whatever. And that, like, for me is such a it's such a perspective opener. Like I get myself, I know others I talk to get so channeled into what we're doing, whether it's work and you're worried about quotas or
Right.
stuff's going bad in your relationship and you're so hyper focused on that one thing. If you can take a step out, and it sounds weird, but you can go to court and
Yeah.
sit in a courtroom, it's like, oh, wait a minute, like we're fine.
I'm right there with zoom out a little bit. I feel on your life.
Right,
You
right.
made such a great point. People get so close to the thing they're dealing with, whether it's just like their life and their work, and they're stressed out about whatever, a relationship.
Right.
Zoom out, right, and realize. I
100%.
had some IG stories yesterday. I was answering some questions where how do you say so positive, and like those cliches where life is short. You never know. You just never know what's going to happen. I take those are very real to me, right? They're not just cliches.
Right.
They're, I think about those each and every day to a certain degree, and that gives me motivation, right? That's just me. So it's the same thing as you going to the courthouse during those sentencing hearings. It's like that person. That's the monumental moment for that person, right? They're either getting they're going to be there for 6 months or 1 year, or they're there
Right.
for 20 plus years. Like,
Right.
holy hell.
I get goosebumps even thinking about it. Just as the sentencing's
very
being
real.
delivered, you're like, yeah, couldn't
It's
recommend it
very
more
real.
enough. My friends always bust my chops because they're like, "Oh, Kevin's saying go to court again." And I'm like, "You got to do it." I'm telling you,
You
it's
got,
next
I
level eye
honestly,
opener.
one thing, yeah, an eye opener that I love to do, that I loved seeing happen to people was when they would go on a ride along with me, right, at the time,
Ooh,
right?
yep,
So I think everyone should do a ride along for 4 hours, 8 hours, whatever the
yeah,
department lets you guys do, just to see what they see, hear what they hear. Because it was amazing
right,
how many times I would have someone who had that mentality, like, I don't know what I don't know. I wanna just see, right?
right.
And so they would sit next to me in the passenger seat. I'm driving. I have my computer right here in front of me, and they have the radio that you can hear through a speaker in my head in
Mm,
my earpiece. And a call would come out, and they would read the screen with me, and they would hear the dispatcher give the information, and I would look over and be like, "Hey, what do you think's going to happen, or what do you think we should do?" And they would say, "Well, I think we should do X, Y, Z." And I was like, "I that's what I'm going to do. Let's go there." And so then I would
right.
go there and deal with the call, finish it up, come back, and talk to them and be like, "Hey, when we rolled up, is that sentence on the screen and what the dispatcher told us, is that, what did we see?" Like, "Well, it didn't match it at all." And I was like, "It
Right,
didn't match it, did it?" Like,
right,
so
right.
for them, it was very eye opening.
100%. I like
So
that
yeah,
ride along too. I gotta check that out for sure. That'd be a blast.
usually local, you can do it. You have to like live, well, every place is different.
Yeah,
You can do it somewhere. You can get somewhere.
yeah,
You could find somewhere to do it.
yeah. Definitely. I might have to put a little Instagram story out, seeing if we can get a
Yeah.
couple. That'd be awesome.
So before TikTok, you were working at RX, right?
Yep.
What are you doing now? Like, what is your daily routine look
I
like?
so I still have. I work at a tech company called Toast, and so it was funny after I worked through college. I worked for Muscle Milk. That turned into opening some doors up at RX Bar. So I really got into like the fitness space through college, and I'm 27 now, so I graduated in 2017. I worked a couple jobs after college, bouncing around from tool companies to to then the tech industry. I worked in gyms. So it's funny. I'm at that crossroads now as a creator where it's getting to the level where I can no longer sustain both. I'm a huge both guy. And what I mean by that is a lot of people are like, I don't know if I should do this or this. And my answer would normally be like, hey, you should probably do both. You know?
Absolutely.
And that it could be more true with me. So I work during the day. It's all remote. We used to be in the office, and then COVID happened and kind of flipped everyone's lives up to down, obviously. And
Hmm.
so tech sales during the day, and then within that same time period, I'm also like full on producing content. I have a manager named Georgina. She's the one that handles all my brand deals. So
Yeah.
I have both on my screen. I'll have my emails for Toast Up. I'll have my emails for my management company for Brandon, and I just bounce. So now I'm in that funny space where both almost no longer becomes appropriate because you can no longer do both at 100% capacity.
Right.
And I think that, and almost true to like any decision you make, both is the answer up until it's like, and probably same for you. It's like if I can't perform 100% at both, and one's getting majority
Hmm.
of my attention, and then it's time to make the leap. So I'm at that fun spot now where it's definitely time to take the leap, all
Yeah.
into content.
Hell yeah. Good for you,
Yeah,
man. That's
it's been fun, and that through that too, like just from doing both, it's interesting. Like the more I find comfort and less pressure, honestly, in spinning multiple plates. Like take sales for example. I have a couple of buddies that I jump on a call with, probably every few days to kind of like walk them off the ledge.
yeah.
And they're always forever in sales, always worried about quota, right? Like quota.
Yeah.
If I don't make quota, oh man, my head's on the chopping block. And for me, it's like the more plates I have spinning, the less I care if one falls.
Yes.
So
You sound like Gary V. You listen to Gary V?
I love that guy. I actually, him and I, he started following me on Instagram, And
Get
so
out of town.
him and I started DMing back and forth. We're trying to set up a flip life video because I do like
because the
get
couches.
for free.
It's right here on my little notes, man. I am no dummy. That was 100% want to get to that. That's so funny to say that.
So it's just crazy. Like as I was doing both, more opportunities started opening up on both sides as well. Like we started a coffee company and a merch line. You know, and then that was an additional plate. Like we launched merch. Now we're spinning that plate, and we launched a coffee company. We're spinning that. So I get less stressed out. Whereas, let's say if I was all in on a 9 to 5, I too would be crumbling, right? If I was behind or missing quota. But it's like you have so much up in the air, and that's why I love business development. Like I almost secretly am trying to figure out a space where to almost do like consulting, but for free, not even for money. I'm on my ear pods all the time. And just talking to other entrepreneurs in the city, just crazy other business ventures and ideas we've been discussing with friends and family and just folks you meet with on social media.
That is all I do, man.
Business development. Yeah, and nurturing from like idea stage to actually physically, launching, that product or service.
It is a fun space to be in. I love the idea of the analogy of spinning plates, right? Yeah. I use the analogy of my metaphorical plate is too full if I have too many things, which in your analogy, it's if I have too many plates spinning. There's always something going on. And I had the same exact kind of feeling where it's like I have like my mortgage job, right? So you said you're in tech sales, right? Yep. And so I'm 100% commission based on my mortgage side, right? I don't have a quota except for like your own personal expenses, right? So I don't get paid unless a loan closes. You hunt down your own deals, essentially, create relationships with realtors and CPAs and whoever. That plate's spinning. The social media thing spun up pretty quick. I've been doing it, making videos for a year and a half. I started making them for, we mentioned earlier, I started making them for mortgages, like strictly. My first 100 videos or so was like real estate, finance, mortgage, educational how-to tips. And like still deliver with a very similar humor that I do now, but just a different punchline. Somewhere along the lines, I took a left turn pretty hard towards dating, divorce, single dad, millennial.
The good stuff, all the meat.
All the meat of my life. That's right.
That's awesome.
So the spinning the plate. So what other plates are you spinning right now? So you got social media. So you got TikTok, Instagram. You're doing the flip life with couches.
Full one that I love. Coffee and the merch was a huge thing. So anything I've created has all come from my own followers. So like Dangerously Caffeinated, for example, started as a tagline at the end of each video. And then there was enough demand in the comment section with folks being like, you say Dangerously Caffeinated, but like, where's the hoodies, the t-shirts, the tanks? And I was like, ooh, merch. It's like, that's a great idea. So then I launched a full-on website. I was finding merch suppliers. I do all the designing and artwork for all that. So it's me physically on Canva, creating the logos. And then going through kind of I love the trials and errors with, I've now bounced to, I just switched merch companies about a year ago to this guy locally who's right in the city here. So now I'm like physically so hands-on with them, from shipping and logistics to new designs, new textiles. So that's a big focus of ours. And then the coffee side as well. Dangerously Caffeinated, that's all. We do all the shipping and logistics right here in our apartment. So we found a local roast master, to actually brew, our blends. And so those are my day-to-day is like bouncing around to, from checking out new textiles to merch to, trying out new flavors, for new product lines we're looking to drop or seeing, hey, where are there missing gaps? Like for a long time, this podcast was 2 months ago, we were going to launch a whole clean energy drink, line called Dangerously Caffeinated. And then we pull the thread more and more and find out it's like startup fees are insane. They're like $300,000 from like a chemist team to the actual like physically bottling and the shipping on liquids because they're so heavy. It's like astronomical, So, and then like you said, like spinning those plates into the get it for free, flip it for cash on Facebook Marketplace, like the Flip Life stuff. That is like my grassroots. That's what like got me out of college debt. Uh,
I think
you know, so
that's like the foundation of like uh, that can be a foundation for people's framework on just how to grind it out, do
totally.
like the hustle mindset. Like it doesn't need to be some far-fetched idea. It's really simple. If you guys don't follow Gary Vee or Kevin Cooney, go follow them for this exact reason of, people, oh, in my comments in the DM say, oh, I want to buy a house. I'm trying to save up. And so I say like, well, how much are you making? How much are you
Right.
spending? And then what's the difference there? You need
Right.
to know that number, right? And if you can't make more money at your job, aka work overtime, take extra shifts, like make more sales,
Right.
whatever your job is, find another way to a side hustle, a side business to
Right.
make money, right? Something that you like to do, or
Right.
even something that just works that you're good at. You might not even like it, but it's going to be a way to save up for the thing you do want.
Right.
And so Flip Life. What is Flip Life, Kevin?
That, no joke, Flip Life is, I literally call it, it's my version of Netflix. Like, I would rather
Oh yeah.
search Facebook Marketplace for free items for 4 hours. And then, like Sunday, for example, we had a wedding on Saturday. We wake up Sunday. It's gorgeous out. I was from probably 11 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon just picking up free items, as much as I could find. So I lucked out. That's a side hustle I legitimately love. I do it now solely for like the love of the game. But it's so easy. You pick up your phone and you search free on Facebook Marketplace. You can then narrow it down from a mile radius, all the way up to like 40 miles. And I'll literally just search free, followed by free couch, free fitness equipment, car parts, baby products, toys. Home decor. The biggest like clap back to those Flip Life videos. For me, it's always furniture. It's mostly like sectionals, recliners, coffee tables. It's like, oh, I don't have a truck. I don't have a storage unit. It's like I no joke. When I first started this, I was in a seafoam green 2005 Ford Fusion. I bought it sophomore year of college. I was picking up like home decor items like fake ficuses and plants and those would resell for 10, 20, 30 bucks. And then after college, I actually purchased a truck like solely for the Flip Life because I was like, oh man, if I could track down bigger stuff like a sectional, and then that's exactly what happened. I'd pick up a sectional for free and flip it for 800, 1,100 bucks, and I would do that and my rule was one couch a day keeps the student loans away. That was like my constant saying. So I was like, I couldn't go to bed unless I picked up a couch that day. And consequently, at the time, I was using my parents' garage, which they kicked me out of because they had 30 couches lined up the tallway. They're like, you gotta get we're not gonna deal with all this. So I got a storage unit. I got a 10 by 15 foot storage unit, and same deal. I could fit 11 couches in there. And you have so much inventory, every other day you're selling, a piece of furniture.
Right.
So it was like this revolving door of picking up to drop off to sell it, and then immediately searching Marketplace again to fill that open gap.
Fill it back up.
In the storage units. So,
that is such the mindset. Like it's what people. So when I say people, it's the majority of people, the people that do this for sure, people that have this mentality. This is not for them. This is for the people that it's just the mindset of like solving the problem. The problem for you, it sounded like, was student loan debt, right?
100%.
The pain of having that student loan debt was greater than the pain of figuring out how to sell couches on Facebook Marketplace, right?
Right.
So like, you're like, I hate having this debt so much to the point that I'm willing to put Netflix down, pick up Facebook Marketplace or anything, something, right? Like swing the bat at something, right?
I'll never forget. I'm sitting down. I'm with my mom. This is. I just graduated, so we go to DCU to figure out this whole loan situation, which I was like not hip to how that was working this whole time in college. And I'll never forget it. The lady goes, "So your minimum payment a month is $280. So you'll pay $280 for the next 2 years every month, and you'll be debt free. And I got I'm like wholeheartedly Irish, and my face got like so flush and red. It was this, you know what I mean? It's just like I got like stung by a bee. I was like
Yeah.
so uncomfortable. I was like 280 for the pretty much 10 years at that age, fresh out of school, seems like 100 years. You're
Right.
like, okay, so I'm never getting out of this.
Exactly.
And figuring out how like interest works and all that, I was like, wow, I'm gonna be in this forever. And it was that very next day I ended up. That's when I really got serious with the flip life, to just double down. I was picking up. I was doing so well sales wise in couches. I was paying $3,000 a month every month for 2 years to pay off $60K in student loan debt.
Yep.
All just from the furniture, just from finding free items.
I absolutely believe that. I love that. That is such like my mentality, and that is a mentality I hope people can pick up on, right? It doesn't have to be couches. It doesn't have to be Facebook Marketplace. It can be an online business. It can be graphic design.
Totally.
It can be, mowing lawns. It can be whatever, something clever. When I say clever, finding some kind of arbitrage, finding some kind of glitch in the system, if you will.
Right.
Wow, like, you're giving away this free couch. I think that would sell. Like, I think I can make money with this. Like, let me try.
Right.
Look at sold items on eBay, on Craigslist, on Facebook.
Yep.
Sure enough, there's the exact same item for, just like, and then swing in the
Exactly.
bag. Try it. Go for it. Like,
And you can start slow too. Like I got a ton of DMs because I documented this whole journey
yeah.
through the 2 years. I had every couch I've sold has some sort of video or still picture behind it.
Good for
just
you.
for me, memory wise. And early days, I got a ton of like, oh, there's no way this works. And then I'd have people being like, sell, look around your house or apartment, find an item that you no longer really use, and just post 10 photos of it on Marketplace and put it up for, whatever you think you can get for it. And then 7 days from now, if it doesn't sell, bring it down 10, 15, 20%, and repeat that till it's actually sold. And sure enough, I get all these follow-up DMs being like, holy shit, I had 2 weed whackers and I sold one for $60. This is crazy. Like, it happens slow, but all of a sudden, it really is a game of how much crap can you pick up and how much space do you have to store it. Like the other day, I drive my girlfriend crazy. The other day, I was looking at airport hangars because I love planes. I'm like obsessed with planes. I was like, wow, we could buy an airport hanger. And she's like, you don't even have a plane. I was like, no, for couches. Think about all the furniture we could put in there. It's like we could put Bob's Discount Furniture out of business with all the furniture we throw in there.
Just start thinking bigger, man. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
it really is a volume game.
At that point it is. No, that's so like for me, for my thing growing up. So I was in the military growing up from 18 to 25, and so your paycheck is set, right? Like you get what you get. There's only so many ways you can game it, and so that clever idea of trying to find a glitch in the system. And so the glitch I could find that many people do is if you move off base when you get the chance, you can get a housing allowance, which is a tax-free stipend based on your rank and what city you're in. Set, no matter what house you buy or rent or whatever, you get that number, right? So one way to make more money in the military when you have a set salary is to rent a place that's cheaper, knowing your you know what I mean? So like there's a little glitch in the system. When you move off base, you get a housing or a food allowance as well. And same thing, can you make your own food less than the cost of what you're getting, you're getting paid to get food. And that was one other thing. If you get deployed somewhere, you get extra pay. Are you willing to not spend it and just save it?
Right.
If you live overseas, there's even more opportunity for some glitches in the system where it's if you live off base, you get a housing allowance that you can't pocket. It's like reimbursable only, but you get a utilities allowance because utilities over there are so expensive. Can you get an energy efficient place and pocket that? That was a huge savings thing for me. So any extra money, so that's something I would do, right?
I like that.
I took advantage of what I had available to me, and I saved everything. And I had a goal in mind. So that's one thing I hear the same between you and I. Your goal, or at least your moment when you're like, I got to do something, was the student loan debt, right? I was lucky enough to join the military with, no debt. I was 18. I didn't have any school under my belt.
Right.
I remember I joined the military. I remember I signed up for my community college for like fire science to be a firefighter. and
Yeah.
I got my first tuition bill, and it was like $912, and I was like, holy hell, Jesus, I am not doing that. I'm gonna join the military. So
Yeah. Yep.
this is a good
Smart
decision.
man.
Smart man, right? Like this makes a lot of. I thought this one through.
Oh, I love that.
So I freaking joined. I canceled that school that term, and I joined the military.
I love
And
that.
I'm so glad I did, honestly. But like the thought process back then was subpar, but either way, it
Yeah.
worked.
Yep.
It worked
Yep.
out.
We're all in a similar boat at that
Yeah.
age, you know?
Yeah, I was 18.
That's great.
But yeah, my thing. So your thing was student loan debt. My thing was I really liked real estate, right? And so I really wanted to.
Yeah.
I had watched HGTV's Income Property, which is
Yeah,
where
yep.
what's his name, Scott McGilvery, would renovate basements and turn them into like apartments, self-sufficient apartments, and it was a separate entrance. And I love the idea of like the passive income, that whole thing. And this is 2010, 2009, 2011. That was this burning desire. Like I want passive income. And then I had to figure out, well, what do I need to get these types of houses? Oh, I need more cash. How do I make cash? Started Googling, how do you make money? Just started saving up. And my target was to buy a house and to flip a house, right? So that was such a burning desire to have a passive income when I was 19. Like I hated having to work. I say this to people that are listening. You got to find something that the target you want to hit, whether it's paying something off or getting something else, right? Or a combination of, or both. Like Kevin says, do both. Have both goals.
Yeah, it's like, and for me, it's something that was like wholeheartedly. It's just how I grew up. Like my first sales job was I used to find golf balls, like whether it was in the woods, off a tee box. At the time, we had a golf course that was near the ocean, and there's this gully where when the tide went out, you could go collect all the golf balls that people hit over the 6th tee.
Yeah.
And I'd go down there at 6 years old with a pail and go pick up all the golf balls, polish them back up, and I'd go sit on the first hole and resell them back to the guys teeing off.
Yeah.
So it's like, and at that time I'm a 6-year-old kid. I have the denim jacket on, the mushroom cut. Like they're still making new episodes of Full House. Like it worked,
Mushroom cut.
I didn't even know
my guy.
I didn't even know that was what that was called. Right? I just loved that transaction.
Yeah.
Between chumming up with the old guys in the tee box and me. I used to sell them 3 golf balls for $1, and it was like a steal.
Yeah.
So that was my first taste, with business.
That's people like this. That's what I spend my time doing. You talked about talking, business development, not doing Netflix, talking about investments, opportunities, buying the hanger, to fit more couches, just thinking and always constantly that's what I love to do. And I'm so glad, it's so awesome that you do the same thing. And I wish people could have that same kind of mentality, because it's the things we're thinking about are about making money, but it's not really the money that drives us, right? It's the getting out of the student debt. It's the I want to hit this target,
100%.
right? And so what's in between? How do I get from where I'm at to where I want to be? What's next, right? What do I have to do next? And so that's usually people's hang up is what they have to do next, right? So to
your name of the show is so appropriate too. That is, to your point, that is a question I ask myself some days every hour, but it's what a perfect name for a podcast, because it's the end all be all question to keep you going.
To keep you going, 100 exactly. That's exactly why I fell on this name, right? Because that's always the thing. People have these grandiose ideas, whatever it is, right? Business, relationships, anything, and they have this vision and this dream. Everyone has a dream and a goal. Cool, that's awesome, and you should have those things. But what do you do? What do next? What is the next step? Right? Step one. Right? We all heard those sayings. A walk of 1,000 miles starts with one step. To eat an elephant, take one bite at a time. Just the next step. So defining what is next. So let me ask, to kind of end on this, to ask you a little curveball. No.
Lay it on me.
I mean, what would you tell someone listening that is just stuck in a rut, whether it's relationships, they just got divorced, maybe they just lost their job, or they're like in a job they don't love and they're just feeling so, complacent and down and just blah, right? Someone who's feeling blah, what would you tell them, or what's your mindset on how you would handle like what's next?
My go-to response, and this happened to me every one of my breakups I've ever been through, is I use the same mentality. If I'm not really feeling it at work, or I'm not happy career-wise, or I'm 27 now. If I look at someone else like a Logan Paul who's 27, I'm like, oh, like why? My go-to motto is massive action is the cure-all. It's a Tony Robbins line that I heard in college, and I wrote it down on a dollar bill, and it's now my bookmark. In any book I read, I have that same dollar bill, and it's a bookmark. And I'll read that quote over and over again, like the only way, whether that's a fitness goal, that's a career goal, you want to say, you're an entrepreneur, but you're not where you want to be at from a sales point of view. It's massive action is the cure-all. It cures depression, right? It's going to heal your brain. Like if I'm one who's always moving, and I'm, thanks to my mom, like unbelievably glass half full mindset.
Yeah.
But even me, like if I take a day, over the winter, I had COVID, right? I was out for like a week on the couch, where I'm never on the couch. It's like very rare that I'm actually laying on the couch watching Netflix. Even me, I'm like slipping into like a depressed state. I'm like, whoa. And then I realized, holy shit, yeah, it is, because I'm always on the go.
Yeah.
Creating, whether that's from a content standpoint, business development standpoint, maybe it is just on the old 9 to 5, just massive action on the old GMAS, for prospecting. Like massive action is the cure-all. Like keep the mind moving. And I get a lot of, it's funny you say that, I get a lot of my DMs just from those, ridiculous, rhymey morning alarms are folks that are, going through divorce, or they got laid off, or they were a D1 athlete, they were the best human being in college. Now when you graduate, if you don't go pro, no one cares what you did in college. Right? So it's repivoting there, and it's like that's forever the answer. Massive action.
Massive action. I right there with you. I love that. There's Grant Cardone says the same thing, right, in his 10X book, right? Massive action. Start spinning more plates. You're not sure, spin some more plates.
That's it.
And then just deal with the fire afterwards, and like, okay, I'll do these ones over here. Love that.
Right. But if it's crazy, if like to the plates analogy, like if one drops, let's say you have 10 plates, but if one drops, you have 9 other things going for you, moving in some sort of direction, And it's the old expression, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's the same expression as the plates, right? Like it's diversifying, whether that's from an income standpoint or career standpoint, is always a good idea,
I believe it. I'm right there with you. All right. So
absolutely.
Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate this talk. This is amazing.
Absolutely,
this is amazing
man.
talk. I love it. The energy you have, right? The mentality, just the framework, the thought process, all the things, right? I love it. Thank you for being here.
100%. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now's your time. Now's your time for your plug. We got Dangerously Caffeinated Coffee on your website.
Totally.
Instagram handle, Kevin Cooney. TikTok handle, Kevin Cooney. What else you got to plug?
Exactly
Here's your plug.
Yeah, all things Dangerously Caffeinated merch, cameos, content, coffee. Hell, you got a free couch and you're somewhat near New England, I'll come and pick it up. It's all at Kevin Cooney for all that good stuff. KevinCooney.com for all your goods.
Perfect. I love it. All right, man. Thanks again. I appreciate it.
You were the best, man. Thank you.
All right.